welcome everyone to an episode of our post SAC recap. My name is Michael Cheesy Hugh, and of course, with on my sides we have the best people in the world.
Oh wow! Thank you for that.
Wow.
So, of course, you're going to introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Rahul Farhan. Yes, 1/3 of BGD.
I'm Nicole, the only female in BGD.
Yeah, actually, so Nicole has been, I think, with the journey with us for a while, and of course, the reason we're here today is to talk about how how we got involved with SAC and how this whole kind of first sports broadcasted meet in Malaysia kind of came about.
Sure.
I'm not sure. Someone actually told me that, at least I think this is Jay Sean. He actually mentioned that it's the first one in Asia. I'm not sure if I can corroborate that. But
well, I've not seen any as well, but it would be a big feat if you were to call ours the first.
Yeah. So can't corroborate that. Maybe in C, but I don't know. But it's out there.
Anyways,
Anyways.
let's get started. So Michael,
Yeah.
how did BGD get started?
Right.
So, but in the very start, right? I guess BGD started in December 2020, actually in my bedroom, where actually no, let's go way before that because I don't have any background in sort of recording and broadcasting and any kind of media content creation, and this was when I was still studying actually, and I decided to start blogging actually.
Oh,
As like all the cool powerlifters do, and it's kind of taught them to be comfortable in front of the camera, and that was when I guess the first part of BGD, which is our main cam.
did
kinda came in.
you post any of this vlogging things?
I'm a bit shy to say, but yeah,
Oh.
it's actually on my main YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's still up there right now?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
It is.
we're gonna go
Michael,
find it.
Michael Hugh, but yeah, that kind of was just a bit of experience. Like it wasn't so much to kind of get any kind of attention. It was just like, yeah, I'm kind of just recording, like vlogging my stuff, right? And after that, I was in Malaysia, and of course, it was during the lockdown. And December 2020 was when BGD actually kind of came to mind and started because during this time, I think training, we weren't allowed to train, right? And
Right.
of course, it was quite hard, I think, the meme is that all powerlifters, it's that their personality during lockdown is just like completely gone because the gym is closed.
They can't do any lifting at all.
Yeah, it's just like, it's a very depressing time, right?
Right.
And so I was kind of thinking, how can I sort of keep my passion in powerlifting, because it's definitely something that was quite tough, as powerlifting was quite a big part of my life then, and it was pretty much and at this point in time as well, like it was a lot of people dropping out of powerlifting. Like because people were kind of like, oh, okay, I can't lift anymore, let me try and do something else. And once the gyms kind of opened a bit later, you don't see any more familiar faces, and that's one of the reasons why we see a lot of new faces as well, because different people picked up the sport. And so during this time, I was like, okay, look, we got to do something to keep people interested in powerlifting, and that's when BGD started with the whole idea of with Zati and Haris actually,
Right.
from Good Gains. And they were kind enough to do a sort of a first season run with me, where we talked a lot about what powerlifting actually is, right? And I think you've
Yes,
seen
that's
it.
right. I think I told you on stream, and you found out first on stream that I
Yeah.
actually found out about powerlifting through Michael and BGD. So you're a huge inspiration to why I'm in powerlifting. You, Haris, and Zati.
Thanks. That means a lot, bro.
Yeah, no worries, man. But
Yeah.
since I told you about my inspiration about coming into powerlifting, what was your inspiration into like BGD and starting a vlog, starting a podcast, wanting to showcase what powerlifting is to the general population?
Honestly, it was just to kind of, because I generally am quite like interested in sort of seeing more people powerlift, because back when I was in the UK, I don't know, powerlifting was kind of like an outlet, and I think that's quite important for people. Like it's not every day that you kind of life gets in the way of things, right?
Right.
And of course, it's for me, like lifting is kind of like a bit of a therapeutic as well.
Mhm.
And I think it can be the same for many people, because it's something that you kind of like vent out, and kind of express yourself in a way.
Were you
And,
watching a lot of like YouTubers who were powerlifting, or was it just like something that you just?
not really. I think mostly on Instagram.
Ah,
But
okay.
yeah, the whole vlogging bit was just experimenting and trying new things.
Right.
And so then coming back to, of course, the first season of BGD, we came up with 10 episodes, and it was about pretty much what's powerlifting, what kind of equipment you need in powerlifting, what are the rules of powerlifting, how does a powerlifting meet run, what are the federations there are in Malaysia. It was very like Malaysian centered. That was the
Right.
whole concept of the
Right.
first season, because we don't need more. When I was thinking of season 1, like I was thinking we don't need more content, because all the content that was out there was from like overseas. Like when I was lifting before powerlifting, even it was guys like Omar Isov. What's the guy's name? Mike something with Slingshot.
Oh, Silent Mike.
Yeah, Silent Mike.
Right.
And I mean it was pretty much like content that came from like the United States,
Right.
or out of Malaysia, and that was how BGD came about. It was something that focused on the scene in Malaysia.
Right. You wanted
Is that the reason why you not specifically niche into like creating content for powerlifting, because you mentioned strength scene instead of just powerlifting?
Yeah, so I make it quite it's just quite a specific point to point out that it's strength, because I feel like it's powerlifting is it's just a small community in Malaysia, and I think everywhere else. And in Malaysia, I don't think in general just strength sports get the attention they deserve, right? And I didn't want to be so focused into powerlifting, and I wanted kind of just in general to build, to just kind of get people interested into strength sports in general.
Right.
Because I think that every strength sport has its merits, and I think it can inspire people in a certain way. I think as we've seen over the weekend, like a lot of powerlifters actually came from a different background,
Right.
Yeah.
and it's definitely all related. And so that was the intention behind the first season. It was pretty much highlighting, Malaysian strength, right? And that is always going to be BGD's I guess slogan.
Right.
Yeah, and so then after that,
Season 2, right?
season 2 came about. People have asked, what happened to Zati and Harris, and so because after season 1, they kind of I guess were focusing on good gains, and of course, so they kind of just they said, look, it was great, but we kind of want to focus on our own thing, and I was like, okay, that's
Right.
fair enough, and of course, I was thinking of how to continue it, right? And because it was pretty much started out as a podcast, and then of course we had Zarul and Darren for season 2. Of course, if you guys know, Zarul is Malaysia's strongest man, and Darren is a very seasoned powerlifter and a even more seasoned MMA athlete,
Right.
who's competed in a Malaysian invasion actually, and so these are big dudes,
Right.
and of course the season, I thought of the name, it was called Big Boys and Chill.
That's right.
And so that was
that truly represents strength sport in Malaysia.
yeah, and I thought it was quite a good kind of combo, because all of us could kind of resonate on that same level.
Right. The SHWs.
Yeah, the SHWs,
SHW.
And so of course this was still during the pandemic. This was I think around January or February of 2021.
Last beginning of the year.
Yeah.
That's also when I started to help Michael out.
Yeah, so
I
Yeah.
see. So
Yeah.
that's how you got involved, right?
Yeah, I was like filming my own vlogs as well, like Michael
Yeah.
did. And then I knew Alice first. Whoever who don't know about Alice is Michael's
It's my
girlfriend. Yeah. And then after that, I know from Alice, I found out that, Michael is doing this stuff. Like for me, it's like, damn, it's still inspiring. So from a media background, I was like thinking what I can help. So I
Yeah.
approached to Michael. Hey Michael, do you need help? Can I help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicole was very enthusiastic, and I definitely appreciate it. And actually, so a lot of the graphics that you see in our early days, and actually now as well, it's done by Nicole. So like I said, I don't have any media background. I mean, I picked up a little bit, but all the creativity, most of the creativity comes from.
But Michael did a lot of research about broadcasting than me because I'm not from broadcasting but advertising. So
yeah.
he knew a lot. I mean, because of this entire BGD, right? Michael actually did a lot of research regarding to like all the audio, how to film, how to record, how to get the equipment, the
Yeah.
lighting as well.
Yeah, so in season 2, like that was when I kind of the BGD started growing a bit more because I think lockdown was kind of ending as well, and I was like, look, I don't want to do this online, anymore because it was always just a meeting that we kind of just recorded and posted up. So that was when I started looking into how to set up a scene, like you see, the scene you see here, and of course how to record audio, which is what you see here. And of course the different angles, which is what you see here.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it for the whole season, but we only did it for the
you can
last,
check it out. The last few episodes of season 2, it was
Yeah.
filmed in a studio.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
filmed in,
Yeah.
in a studio, like
And
Very
then-
professional.
Yeah,
Very, very
and
professional.
Michael set up everything himself though.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was quite a fun experience. I mean, I'm definitely someone that likes to just kind of go and try things out,
Learn new things, explore new stuff.
Yeah, and I think that was the first time I was like, whoa, this is I'm here, like how like, and it all started with the whole vlogging, right? And so after that, it was very nice to talk to people in person, and of course Zara and Darren are very nice people, and they had a lot of experiences to share, and of course they're like really really emotional moments as well, which is something you don't really capture online, like it's like you're a bit distant in that sense.
That's right.
Yeah, so in person, definitely something that I really enjoyed. So there was no way I was going back to online stuff, right? And actually after that, we kind of had plans to do like a season 3 and a season 4.
But unfortunately, COVID hits again, and we can't like interview people in person.
yeah, and I was dead set on not having anything online because that was just like it was like taking a step back.
Right.
Right.
And that was
It
not
was a
something.
progress.
Yes, yeah, and I didn't want to do that. So so we took a break for quite a bit until, of course, we joined the gym in September last year.
And I guess that's how I met
Yeah.
Michael and Nicole.
Yeah, and so then Rahul, that's how we met
That's
each other.
right,
And
yeah.
of course, we started out as friends, strangers, then friends, and then
I would only see Michael once a week on Saturdays.
and then almost every day.
And then
Every day right now.
and then almost every day.
Yeah. I think big shout out to of course the Strength Academy. It's a home. Personally, it's a home for us.
It's where we're shooting our video right now.
Mm.
You
Yep.
can see the bar rack behind us.
Yeah.
That's all of Strength Academy's bars. So
Yeah,
shout
and-
out to them.
And so of course, like Hisham, of course, we got to know him really well as well, and he was organizing the first IPF meet of 2022, which is the Strength Academy Classic, right? And
First IPF meet since the pandemic as well.
since the pandemic, so in a good at least 2 years.
Yeah.
So then of course we saw him organizing the event, and we were just kind of like around seeing what we could do to help. And I think about sometime in December, was like early
Yeah, it was
December.
late November.
Late November,
yeah.
I was just thinking, I kind of just thought about, had a brief moment. I was like, wait, we can, because Hisham said something about having no spectators, and it was like,
And actually, this entire broadcast of a meet or any event ideas, right? Michael actually told me way more before
Right.
SAC, like during last April, like that.
yeah. So actually, we had a meeting for one of our plans for, I guess, the season 3, so to
Yeah.
speak, and I think I briefly mentioned to Nicole, like, one day, because we don't have anything like that here in Malaysia, and
Right.
it was a dream.
Yeah. At that time, right, actually, I was, to be honest, I was feeling, wow, Michael is there to dream big enough. For me, because there wasn't anyone doing this, like broadcast about a meet in Malaysia and in this scale. So initially, I was like, wow, this dream a bit big. Who knows, like a year later, Michael made his dream came true.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole SAC coming up, I was just thinking, look, this is an opportunity. I have some equipment, and of course, I have some good people to help me out.
Right.
And I think I can make this work. And I was like, okay, look, I can try to broadcast this.
Right.
And of course,
So you approach Hisham to say like, yo, let's try to make this happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see what we can do,
Right.
because of course there's I don't have a portfolio. I've never done this before,
Mm.
and of course so we didn't really use it. It wasn't really professional, I guess, in that sense.
Mm.
Of course no one knew what to expect, or even I didn't know what to expect,
Right.
Right.
and so then the work started to kind of just
Pile
come
in, right?
pile in, and it was
Mm.
like, okay, well, what does a broadcast need? Well, it needs of course a main cam. It needs an intro. It needs transitions. It needs different scenes, different camera angles, different I guess like
Inputs.
inputs,
Yes.
and of course the whole kind of planning and of everything took pretty much all of my spare time in
Right.
in
Mm.
December.
In December, yeah.
Yeah, and just thinking about that now is like it's quite insane, because back in retrospect, like this all didn't exist, like like the whole broadcast didn't exist. It was pretty much just like, will this work?
First
and
ever, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the stars just align, bringing Rahul into our team, like from his
Yeah.
lawyer.
yeah, and so then Rahul came along, and I was just, I think I was thinking one day, and I was just kind of thinking, shit, we need to talk about the
we need
athletes.
someone who can talk really well.
Yeah, and of course Rahul,
Which is Rahul.
So-
the extroverted legend,
No, it's just that I've always wanted to do like a podcast or something of that nature. I'm a very chatty person,
Mm.
right? I mean, if someone talks to me, most of the athletes who talk to me on the SAC days, they do understand that I can be very chatty, so I do ask them a lot of questions, right? So initially, like back in 2021, like January to March, one of my colleague actually planned a podcast
Mm.
to
Right.
talk about something. It was mainly lawyer based, like young
Mm.
lawyers based.
Right.
Mhm.
But that never really took off
I see.
because there were other lawyers doing their own podcasts, and we were like, what's the point? We just very young lawyers, 2-3 years experience.
I see.
So what can we talk about, right? So we didn't end up doing it, right? So it was a missed opportunity. Then 8-9 months later comes along BGD.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, this is something I love, and I don't mind doing like the research and background towards
Right.
it.
Yeah. So for all of you guys who watch the live stream, a lot of the research that gone into the athletes actually came from Rahul.
Rahul.
Actually, most of it, because we just didn't have time to have a look at Instagram, just kind of go through the athletes, and of course it was crucial. Like all of this information, that the content that that about all the athletes, it's pretty much all came from all the research that he did, and so that was pretty key as well. A little secret there. That's a little secret.
Yeah.
There. So for those who want to kind of do this as well.
Make sure you know your facts behind your lifters, because I think like especially when you have like parents and friends watching it live back home, saying that they're a new father, or saying something along the lines that they have their own private gym and they're promoting the sports within women or something of that nature.
It makes more of a difference than you
That's
think.
right. That's right.
And so then of course we had a full-fledged team, of course covering all corners, and of course leading up into the meet, of course more and more overthinking kind of came about. It was like,
Yep.
oh my god, what if this fails? What if that fails? And just kind of like trying to fail-proof everything, because we don't have much equipment, right? I mean, from what you see here, this is the audio setup that we have. We have different mics. It's all. I mean, it's all within my means, and so we had to make it work somehow, right? It's definitely not a professional setup.
Yeah.
It's what we can do to make it run. And so during, of course, 1 week away from the broadcast, we're just compiling all our research, just setting up all the scenes, making sure Nicole actually did the transitions, and like 3 days
In
before
fact,
the broadcast.
all the transitions, all the graphics
Yeah.
that you see on screen that day, it was all
Yeah.
done by Nicole.
Yeah.
So
And it was
really
like,
kudos to her.
yeah, and it was crazy because like I remember thinking like, oh my god, I just want a simple fade, like the next scene,
Every
like,
single
that's
thing
boring.
is a fade,
Yeah.
and
And then they were like, ask me, hey Nicole, are you able to do this? I answered them, let me try out. And then finally I got it done.
Yeah, exactly. And so of course without Nicole's like knowledge and creativity, I think it wouldn't be what it looks like today. If you have the time, do watch the live stream. I think it's
I mean,
think
why
it's something
haven't
we're
you
proud
watched the
of.
live stream?
Yeah.
Why haven't you? If you haven't, why haven't you?
Yeah. And yeah, so everything kind of came together in the last week of I guess 1 week out, right? As powerlifters would say. And so of course, comes the day before the meet. We come into the gym. Of course, we've done a few like kind of
Test runs.
Test
test runs, the
Yes.
setup and how it goes. And of course, Friday was the first time that we saw everything
Like,
kind of come together
that's
because
right. The platform was set.
Yeah.
Everything else was set. The layout was set.
Yeah.
The computer was set.
yeah. So before that, because of course the gym is the gym. There was literally like it was all imagination as to how kind of the scenes would look,
Right.
and how everything would kind of flow. But actually, on that Friday night was when like, oh my god, this is what it looks like. This is what it's gonna be. This is tomorrow. This is coming.
This is happening. It's literally happening.
This is
yeah.
happening.
That's
You know.
right.
And of course, the Friday night, you know, because I came up with all the sort of scenes and all the ways to using this kind of broadcasting software, right? And so I had to teach, of course, everyone to kind of how to manage it in case, you know, I had to jump somewhere, which is on Sunday evening.
Yeah.
So, and that was great. Like, you know, everyone kind of picked up quite quickly. It was fantastic. So literally all corners covered. And these two guys competed as well. Like,
But then actually Michael did a really, really good job because for me, right,
Oh,
after learning all these like coordination stuff about the system, right, it was really, really hard to multitask. Like you need to
Yeah.
think what to say. Some more you have to control the scenes, like all the transition, right, between the live stream, the playback, and everything else. You actually need to like execute. It's not like automatically
So the thing
functioning.
is if you guys weren't here, you wouldn't know that when Michael was commentating, he was also controlling the entire
scenes.
broadcast.
Right.
Yeah. For flight, because we were short-handed, right? So of course, like I took it upon myself, like, you know what, I think I can do this. Let's try it. And of course, I had when I was doing multitasking, I had Rahul to kind of cover me. Of course, this is all behind the scenes. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was crazy. I actually had a headache after that. It was
Yeah,
like, oh my
yeah.
god, my
Damn
brain is
crazy
kind of,
because like before, I mean, a few
Yeah.
days before the event, right, both of them, right, were still trying to improve the entire broadcast experience, you know. Like the playback, actually, they figure
Let's-
it out
let's-
like
yes.
2 days or 3 days
right.
before.
Oh my god, the
That,
element.
that can be under the best and worst moment.
Yeah,
we'll move
yeah.
into
We'll
that.
come in,
We'll come back. Yes.
All right, and of course, like, you know, Friday night was super nervous. We slept over at the
Yes.
gym, me and Rahul. Rico had to go home and prep for the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have that great of a sleep.
No, not at
Nah.
all. It was like I'm sure. Okay, just briefly, right? Y'all viewers know, like, you know, when you sleep in like a new place, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't get the best sleep. You're
Nah.
like wary of like situations. I mean,
That's
SA
right.
is second home, but
Yeah.
like weird.
Weirdly
little
enough,
creaks at
yeah,
night.
that's right. I mean, like at night it was extremely quiet and it
Yeah.
was slightly hot, and we were tossing and turning.
You
So,
can see all the efforts they put in. I remember the Saturday morning when I came in, right, they were like all set already.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
that Saturday morning, I was extremely worried because I walked on the scale when I woke up on Saturday morning.
you
and
had to
I-
make weight.
yeah.
Because I had to make weight the next day. So I was like, okay, let me just step on the scale and see whether I've made weight.
Mm.
And I didn't.
Oh wow.
I didn't make weight
How far
on.
were you?
I was maybe like 0.5 kilos.
Oh man.
Oh.
So I took 0.5. But the thing is, this is like without any water, without just like I just woke up, right? That's the
Morning weight.
lightest, lightest I've ever. I should weight, right?
Mm.
And I was weighing in at about 81, 81.5, 82, like the days prior with my scale at home. I didn't test it in the gym.
Right.
So that just added another level of stress to me. I was like, nah.
Oh
God.
man, am I gonna not
Yes.
make weight?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when the day started, it was pretty much people started coming in, and it was like, and they were like, "Oh my god, what's this setup?" You know, like it's
Yeah.
and-
We had the lights, the spotlights on already.
yeah, and of course, the whole flow was kind of thought out already. You know, having the intro and having the transitions into the lifts, and of course back and forth. And I think starting the whole thing, like it was. I think after we started the intro, everything pretty much just kind of
Fell into place.
Fell into
Yeah.
place, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
because
right.
everything was pretty much thought about. I think most of the things were thought about. Like And of course, during an event, if nothing goes wrong, there's something wrong. Like Murphy's law, right?
That's
Something
right.
will definitely
Murphy
go
law.
wrong. And of course, I think this comes to, of course, the part of one of the best and worst
parts,
moments
yeah.
of this whole
Broadcast.
broadcast. Of course, I think
Let's run it through everyone then, okay?
right.
Michael, you go off. What was the best moment of the podcast for you? Shit, I hope you don't steal mine, but go on.
Okay. So, like personally, I think the best moment of the broadcast was, I think, just seeing people's comments in the comment section. I think honestly, it was like, and just seeing the number of people that tune in to watch. I think that was something that I didn't expect at all. Like it was crazy. It was genuinely out something I never thought about. Like during the whole time prepping the broadcast, it was never about the number of people that came to watch. It was just about trying to show what powerlifting is in Malaysia, what it can be. And I think that from what we've seen, we've done a good job, I think. And of course, the worst moments, of course.
We'll go best moment first. We'll go
best.
best
Okay.
moment. Okay.
Let's
I
go best.
actually
Nico.
feel that
Let's go, Nico.
we will have a same worst moment though. Let's talk about that later.
Okay. Let's go with your best moment.
Okay,
Nico.
my
let's
best
go with
moment
Nicole.
is kind of similar with Michael, which is like we didn't expect there will be so many people actually tune in the live stream and watch.
Yeah.
For me, it's the after effect, which is after the both days, right? When I scroll through my Instagram, whoa, everyone is actually screen recording.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my transition is like, oh, the opening of every post.
Yes,
Nicole. Oh my
yes.
god, that's your transition.
Yeah,
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
oh, I'm so proud I make an impact.
Yeah. And honestly, like that makes all the difference. Imagine fading into like your lift. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, like we
Yeah.
didn't imagine we will really make such a
Yeah.
good job, and everyone actually screen record and then post on their
Everyone
IG.
used our screen record. So
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Rahul?
Yeah, what
my
about
best
you?
moment was actually like getting the chance to like showcase all the masters and sub juniors. Like
Right.
I mean,
Oh.
like when we interviewed like Samsul,
Yeah,
or
Shamsul.
AKA the Drip Master.
Drip Master.
After like
Which is actually the picture that is on the BGD's message. That I think that
I think like the fact that we managed to showcase powerlifting in the whole of Malaysia, and we got to interview these people. By the way, the interviews were really just a last minute plan. We didn't actually
Yeah.
plan to interview athletes, but we were like,
Right.
oh, why not we did. That's why we only did it in the second flight, right?
So I don't think it's a worst moment, but I mean, just to talk a bit more about that. Like quite a few things were quite last minute, and of course just something that was like, oh, this would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Of course, one of them, which also was a bit of a terrible moment, was the action replay cam.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
that
We
was
all
what I
agree.
was thinking. Because
Yeah.
okay, I think we all need to apologize because like during the live stream, right?
Yeah.
I see a few comments saying that, why this athlete didn't have that replay?
Especially you, Nicole. You didn't get your action replay.
Oh, it's okay, it's
Yeah.
alright. But
so
yeah,
terribly sorry about that. Because,
really sorry.
Of course, I think as I've mentioned, we are limited with equipment, and of course, this action replay cam was actually quite last minute as well. It was like the day a few
I think
the
2
day
days before.
2 days before.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? I was like, okay, I think we can make this work. Using the right software, and of course, just kind of figuring out how to get that working was. Rahul came up with the bloody out of the box
Yeah.
idea.
So I think you
I
were
was so
in the
tunnel-
gym. You were in the gym for about 2 hours just trying to figure it out.
I was so tunnel vision
Yeah,
on like a certain
And I was like,
strategy,
Michael,
yeah.
what are you doing? I'm trying to do this. I was like, what if we just do this and do this? And Michael just looked at me and he was like, why didn't I think of
Yeah,
that?
bro. I was just like, holy shit. I just like tunneled in hard, like
No, because like Michael was so into improving the entire experiences. Like
Yeah.
he don't want the audiences to have any boring moment.
Alright.
yeah, and that was one of the key points of, I guess, the focal points of the broadcast was that because powerlifting meets are not the most exciting things to watch.
That's
It's
right.
pretty much you go up, everyone goes up and lifts the same lift 3 times. That's like with a flight of 12 people. That's 36 same movements, and and bench, of course, is just bench. And so that was the most difficult thing. That was the key point. How do we
Hype up, right?
Yeah, how do we hype up? How do we get people interested in powerlifting? And of course the story came along, with the athletes. The transitions came to kind of cue the next seeds, and the different angles with the main angle and of course the action replay.
And obviously we had competition within the athletes, which we didn't expect to see.
Yeah, and of course, and of course, some of you that watch would know, this kind of drama that kind of built up during this whole this competition, and I think, that was pretty much one of the things that we did quite at the end, and of course the interview that it was talking about, because Rahul actually was like, these guys are crazy. Like during they just busted national records. Let's talk to them.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's
I was like, okay, do we have an extra headphone? That's why you saw a random Apple headphones, because it was it was not planned. And when we were doing the commentary, all I kept thinking was, okay, the recent Virginia Pro, which was arguably one of the biggest US powerlifting meets, right? I was going through my mind. I was like, what did they do differently about their broadcast? Then I thought, I was like, oh, they had pre-interview, post-interview, and they had estimates who is going to pull what's the biggest competition is. I was like, okay, why don't we take a chapter from that book and we do something slightly more simple. Just interview the athletes.
Yeah, and of course, that's what brought you guys the Drip Master.
Yes.
And of course, Eugene and
How
the first day, who was on the first day?
Abigail.
Abigail, yes, Abigail the sub junior.
We had Eugene and we had Drip Master.
Drip
That's
Master.
right.
And on the second day, we had How.
I believe we only had How on the second day because the transition from the first. See, the thing is, the transition from the first flight to the second flight on each days is a rather short period, right? And they move really quick because they want in and out. So it's hard to interview, these athletes.
Yeah.
But I think moving forward with meets, it'll be easier to talk to the meet director and see how we'll be able to schedule in an interview, or maybe even do a separate interview.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. It's just that it was quite impromptu and we didn't plan it.
I think because after all, our first experiences, right? Actually, we can thought of a lot of things to improve from that.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, let's talk about our worst moment. We have talked about worst moments.
Yeah.
I have my own worst moment.
Yeah. What was your worst moment?
My worst moment was probably just shouting in the mic uncontrollably.
Oh yeah.
But I know I've been given mixed reviews about that. Some people just love it because it just rushes blood through. Right? But other people are like, this guy's just shouting in the mic. What's the point? Why are you just shouting? Commentate.
Hurting my ears.
Yeah. I think that was one of my my blunders. Another blunder would probably be cheering for someone else when the lifter itself didn't manage to get the pull. You know who you are. I've apologized. I'm really sorry. But overall, I think we did a really good job. We tried our best. I think
we also learn from our mistakes.
That's right. Moving forward, I'll make sure I don't scream as much.
Of course, moving forward, we do have a lot of things that we reviewed, and I think what to improve. Of course, with the mishaps with the action replays, definitely we apologize sincerely for that. For those who were affected by it, definitely that will not happen again.
Yeah.
And
we will make that sure that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
We've actually made it sure it won't happen again.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
And of course, I think of course what we could have, I think if we had more time, we could have had a bit more like a flowery kind of transition,
Definitely.
Something a bit more exciting. And of course, having finally done the whole broadcast, of course, planning and
That's right.
including everything, including all the interviews, including all.
I think moving forward, it will just be nitpicking on what can be improved even better, better. Yeah,
of course, because as you've if you've seen our post, one of our principles is a Kaizen, which is of course constantly improving, and I don't think I'm not one to settle. Of course, so always get better at it.
Kaizen is a
Um,
Japanese term. In Mandarin means 改善. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
understand Mandarin, you understand it.
Yep, and of course, so I think, yeah, with the whole broadcast, it was a crazy first experience, and overall, I don't think, I think it was one of the best opportunities that I think we've all
I'm very
taken.
glad I did it. Thank you so much, Michael,
Same.
for
Thank you so much, Michael.
No worries. Welcome. I mean, thank you all for being part of the journey, because we wouldn't have been here, I think, if we were all not here. So, yeah, I think that and for in the future, I guess we will be kind of releasing a few athlete showcases. We are
Ooh.
doing interviews with athletes, and of course, just to kind of bring you guys a little insight into what
Their lives,
what their
right?
lives
Yeah.
are, and hopefully that inspires some of you out there to you young bloods out there, young ones,
Young or wise.
or wise
Mm.
ones.
Yes, young or wise.
If you get that,
If you get the reference, yes.
Yeah, to kind of because of course the at the end of the day, the views are one thing, but it's the number of people that we've reached and know and have is known about powerlifting. Because I can tell you for sure, for just as something a bit personal, right? My parents actually, I've been lifting for 4 years, right? And after the broadcast, they were like, they were talking, that guy, that one 105, like he broke his total by 60 kilos.
Right.
That's insane. That he's like so young, and it was such a good deadlift. And I was like, my whole 4 years of my life, like you never talked to me
you-
about powerlifting.
You made a
Yeah.
really good job because
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but in Malaysia scene, right, there's one thing I noticed is like the older and elder generation, they actually not really supporting lifting heavy. I received comments like, yo, you will broke your spine and things like that.
Right.
But in fact, I mean, like if you ever watch like videos from overseas, they'll be saying like, imagine if your grandpa, 80 years old, are able to lift this much weight. Are you like afraid of he being falling down from somewhere else?
Right.
Definitely no, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, look
That's
at
a
Drip
strong
Master
grandpa,
for
yeah.
Yeah, look at
example.
the drip master.
190 kilos at 63 years old, bro.
Yeah, going for 200 next.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yes.
So that's actually came in our purpose, which we try to like educate and also influence more people into lifting and educate them. Lifting is actually good for you, not only youngsters, but also like our drip master.
Yes,
right?
I mean, most parents who actually watched the stream, they picked up a lot of things, and I'm sure they're proud of all their kids who lifted that day, right?
It's not like some enigma that your kid is out doing something, trying to injure himself.
That's right.
It's
It's very controlled. It's well thought out, and it's done safely. As you can see, the amount of volunteers for spotters.
spotters.
And
Yes.
I think the greatest thing that, of course, any family and friends are watching is how much your friend or your kid or your dad
Mm.
actually enjoys doing what they do. I think that is something that is invaluable, and I think that I think this is the best production of BGD so far of everything, and it's definitely been the most impactful.
Mm.
And I'm grateful that all of you out there who've seen the live stream and enjoyed it and give the good feedback. It means a lot to all of us.
Right.
You can give your criticism as well. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we'll take it.
definitely.
Mm.
Because of course, constant improvement is not just about positive feedback. It's about feedback that can
Challenges,
is critical and is and it challenges what we do, and we are definitely welcome that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for our recap of SAC and the broadcast. I mean, talking about it again, like it's been like what, a week or 2 weeks since
Right.
the whole thing, and I'm just getting emotional again.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's
so nostalgic, right?
it is. It was something that something that I will never forget. I'll never forget, at least that's for sure.
Well, BGD team, I mean, three of us are still trying to create more content for everyone out there. And Michael, do you want to share a bit about the other two principles that you actually share on the IG?
Yeah. So of course, with our founding principles, when I started BGD, of course, the direction was not quite there yet. But I think after we've done this whole broadcast and what we're doing with athletes and people around us now, we of course have three founding principles: Kaizen, which you've heard before, which is of course constantly improving and never settle; respect, which means acknowledging everyone's efforts and and their differences, and of course, finally, neutrality, which means learning to separate personal opinions from a professional representation of who they are, and what the focus of this what our purpose is, right? It's not to what people say, stir shit up, or it's not to show some tea. It's about showing people what powerlifting is. It's about showing people what the community is all about. It's about showing people what people are passionate about.
What strength sport is all about.
What strength sport is all about in Malaysia. So yeah, that's it. I think that's my message.
Yeah, we will always revisit these 3 principles ourselves when creating contents as well.
Yeah.
And we live by it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I guess that's a good time to kind of
Cap it off, right? Yes.
right? So for those who have stayed to the end of this episode, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and we hope to do this again sometime. If of course anyone would like to would like our help and like what we do, feel free to contact us either through our Instagram in message, or of course through email at bgdcast@gmail.com.
That's BGDcast, CAST at gmail.com.
I'll edit here.
Yeah, right here.
Right here.
Right. Okay. And of course, thank you for your time, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.